Okay, so look at this for something a little bit different. This is the Helicute, and it's the Hero, and I really like the look of it. I think it is an awesome looking piece of kit. It's sort of offset on the motors, as you can see there, and just the whole style of it is really nice. Bit different, I quite like that. It's got a 720p camera, and in the back here we've got a 1000 milliamp hour battery, single cell, and it connects on a JST. And the nice thing is you can see it's got an on-off switch, so we don't need to have that. We can just leave it plugged in, which is rather nice, and it just sits really nice. It's just different. I just love it. It's sort of got the landing gear is a tri setup, so it's a 3, and it just sits really smart. It's got an onboard micro SD card as well, and also my ones actually come with FPV as well. So, and I've just stopped the phone down on top of the manual just to stop it scratching, to be honest, being a bit wussy about my phone. And the manual's really quite good. Yeah, quite impressed with that. So it runs through everything. If you're new to flying, it would help quite a bit. The transmitter is just the normal sort of gaming style one, which I really like. They're comfortable for thumbers. They've got big pads on the top there, or you can pinch if you like. And the nice thing about this is it takes a good sized phone, and it just, the way it all folds away again is really nice. And it will actually take my phone there, so it does sort of pull right the way up. You have to give it a good old yank there, but it will take that as well. I'm going to run through the transmitter beforehand, and you can just use it without. Now if you're new to flying, it comes with prop guards as well. They just clip in and out. Please put them on and fly with it. The props are quite flexible. They're not really, it's not really going to hurt anything, I don't think. And but definitely better with the prop guards on. You're going to fly a lot better. And don't bother with the FPV and everything else, screens or anything like that. Just learn to fly, enjoy the flying experience, then add your FPV, and you can move on and on with it then, sort of thing. That's no problem at all. Running through the transmitter, these ones are all trims, and there's loads of videos out there on how to set trims if it's not flying correctly. And this one is, you've got a headless mode. You press this one, it goes into headless mode. Press this one down here and it goes into a return to home, which roughly come back to where you started ish. It's not got GPS or anything else on it, so it's not going to be the best in the world. This one here changes the rates. So you just click it in. It always starts in low rates, and it's got 3 different rates. Click it once, it will go into second rates, beep beep, and click it again, it will go beep beep beep, and it's in high rates. Press it again, it comes back round into low rates. This one here is your flip, so you press that one and it will flip. And then this one here is, if you've not got the one with Wi-Fi, you've just got ordinary camera and you've not got the Wi-Fi set up, you can start and stop the recording with this one as well. So that's rather good. And this one here starts and stops the motor, so it puts them into tick over basically, and will stop them as well once it's landed. Or it's an emergency landing, so you hold that down for 3 seconds and it will literally kill the motors. It will drop out of the sky. So that's only an emergency thing. Much better to bring it in and land it properly. You can also start the motors by pulling them down and out, and you can stop them that way, or you can pull it down and in and stop it that way as well. So I'm going to turn on, it doesn't really matter whether you turn on the quad or the actual transmitter first of all. So I'm going to pop the quad on, get a little flashing LEDs on the bottom. We've got nice cool blue ones on the top, and then on with the transmitter, and then just up and down with the throttle. And sorry, it is a mode 2, so your throttle's on this side, and then it's actually bound because the LEDs have stopped flashing, and it's altitude hold because both the sticks are centered as well. I'm going to pop the FPV on, but I really do recommend, if you're new, don't use the FPV. So what the actual quad has done now is it's set up a little Wi-Fi hotspot, so you don't need any internet access or anything. Okay, there's 2 applications come out from Helicute. You've got the Helicute FPV and the Helicute 720. If you've got the 720 one, which I've got, it will not work on the Helicute FPV, so you must make sure you've got the right one. The screen just doesn't come live with the camera. Don't know why. I would have thought it would have done, but it doesn't. Because I've already been on and actually logged onto the Wi-Fi hotspot before, and there's no password or anything with it. Mine automatically is already on there, so, and it's automatically picked it back up again. So once you've done it, it will log straight back on again. It says there's no internet access, but it doesn't produce an internet access point, so that's quite normal. And then just simply launch the application, press the play button, and there we are, we're away. So that's nice and quick and good as well. It's actually A little bit of lag in places, but it's not too bad actually. I've been sort of had a little play with it, and it seems quite good. So I'm going to start the video recording, and because we always do like a little bit of video with it, and that's us all ready to go. And then we're not going to use any of the controls on the app. I'm just going to use my transmitter here to actually fly with. So let's just put it into idle mode, and it really is quite quiet. It just ticks over really nicely, so that's good. And that's in low rates, and you can see altitude hold working already. It is just such a smart, it's just nice to have something a little bit different. Very good. And that is really low, so if you're new to flying, perfect. I love the way the props are at different angles. They actually overlap each other, can you see that? They're actually running one on top of the other, so if I do that perhaps you'll see it a bit better. So that's on full pitch forward. There's a slight bit of breeze here, but not a lot. You can see. So it's not going to do a lot in low rates, which is lovely for filming. And if you're learning, perfect. I'm going to pop it up into intermediate rates. Well, that's a bit better. Oh yeah, that's fine. Like, so a tiny bit of breeze, and that's just catching that. You see that? Yeah, I can feel the breeze picking up now. Just have a quick play with the FPV. Oh, the field of view seems very narrow. Oh, it is quite narrow actually. But that's not unusual with this type of quad and camera. I'm going to pop it up into high rates. Beep, beep, beep again. Yay. It flies quite nicely. Yeah, that is quite a narrow field of view, I think. It's slightly pointing downwards already actually, so we'd have to go up quite a bit to actually get us in view in the house. Yeah, there's definitely some lag going on there. I am recording the screen as well, which I've started to have a bit of problem with actually lately. And it seems like everything's on the slope with it. I don't quite understand why. But it's doing its job, I think, isn't it? I just think this is going to be out in 720p as well. It's quite good. And descent is usually slow, sorry, not always slow. I've been corrected on that a few times, but it can be slow on with altitude hold, and this is certainly no sports flyer. So if I'm going to do a complete kick out, so it's full throttle, as you can see, it's not fast, and then completely kill the throttle basically, and the props are still spinning like mad, and then if I let go, it will just sort of balance itself up on the altitude hold. So yeah, it's working quite well. Let's see what it does flip wise. Oh, it doesn't flip. That is definitely the flip button. I can hold it in, press it, whatever. It doesn't do it. I did try this a little earlier, just to have a little play with it, and I couldn't get it to flip. So I was just hoping when I was going live it would work, sort of thing. But it's obviously not going to, so that's fair enough. The headless mode, let's try that one. So press that, and we get flashing LEDs on it. So let me just bring that back in so you can see it. There we go. And headless, basically, that is always forward as far as the quad is concerned. That's always back, and that's always right, and that's always left. So that's how headless works. So even if I turn the quad round, you're still going to go right and left, even though the quad looks as though it's going left and right. That's what headless is all about. I'm going to turn off headless. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't use it much at all, really. Can't actually think of me using it. I have used it on some camera birds occasionally to do a sort of sweep pass, but not my idea of a lot of fun, to be honest. I like flying and being a bit more in control. So I'm going to put it I'm going to bring this back just a wee bit, and then what we'll do is we'll put it see whether it returns to home, and it's going over that way. Yep, and just checking that we can cancel it with the direction slip on the right there. So let me just do that again for you. So press that, and there it goes. It's going off in that direction until I correct it, and then it just stops instantly. So that's good. If I press the I don't know if it comes in auto lands or not. Yes, it does. When you press this button here, it will come in and auto land. Woo, I thought that was going to tip over. It sort of did a bit. The motors would kill anyway, I'm pretty sure, if it did tilt over, which it's likely to do with that setup. Unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to happen, isn't it? So again, we can just start them with that. That's good. So try and fly a little bit of FPV. I will stop the video and then start the video again because said it couldn't record there. Cancel record plan. I thought it said it couldn't record, but it has done. So I don't know about range on this thing. Like I say, the field of view is very narrow. Oh, that's a fair old range because we're just out into the field. Oh, the FPV is really dropping off now. Yep, so we're out in the field. There we are. So yeah, the FPV sort of works. It's not the best in the world by any means. And that field of view, like I say, is really narrow. So, but really good fun actually. I just love this thing. I just love the look of it. It's just nice to have something a little bit different. And then, if it, like I say, killing the motors. Oh, it will stop automatically because it thinks it's come down to land. But let me just do that to show you what happens when you kill it. I'll bring it in, so I really don't want to damage this thing. So just bring it in nice and low, and then if I hold this down for 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, bonk. Oh! You see what happens now? There we go. So I'm going to stop that, and now I'm actually going to fly on the actual tablet. Yes, on my phone. Sorry, not a tablet. So I'm going to turn that off. And we're still connected up now. It's gone to flashing LEDs because though it's sending a signal back to here, it's not actually being operated by this until I turn on the controls. And I've done a video on how to use this app. Well, basically it's a generic app and they've just nicked bits out of it. So if I turn that on now, the LEDs have stopped flashing. So now we can actually fly on this one. So that's good. And some of the apps I've noticed, and I've had problems with them, that if you don't keep your finger on the control stick, the blue bit basically, and you touch it back down, it doesn't jump to it. And that's where I've had problems with flying. So this one I think should be pretty good. Having said that, I probably won't be able to fly it now. We'll see how we go, shall we? Okay, and to start the motors, simply down and out like we did before, and then it's just sitting there ready to tick over and take off. Let's just start the video again. Yeah, I think that's why I've had trouble with apps before. Oh, I've got the battery base slightly open, but I'm really not too worried. Now, and usually when you go into flying with an app, it slows it down a heck of a lot, but I don't reckon that's any lower rate than what we had before, which is good. So that's really nice. I love it. It's a really nice slick app. I can actually fly it. So that's full pitch. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, you'll see it on the screen. And it's not really going to do a lot. So let's up the rates. So this is again into second rates. I reckon it's flying more or less about the same as what it did when it was using the transmitter, which is pretty unusual. And now I'm going to put it up into high rates. That's really good. Now, because we're using the Wi-Fi, it's not going to have the range that we had before. So I don't think it will do it'll probably do about 50 meters, but that would be about it. And of course, you get a dropout, it will just completely drop. So I'm not going to go any further than that. That's absolutely fine. That's over 30 meters there. That flies really nicely. We like that. So far, very impressed with it. Yeah, look, lovely. Holding nicely. It doesn't have altitude hold on this one. There's no way of flicking it on from what I can see, which really isn't a bother. Because if you let go of the sticks, they'll just stay where the left hand stick, your throttle stick will stay where you put it, so you can make it almost like an altitude hold and hover. Now it's got a 360 flip here, so I'm not sure that'll work. Nope, still doesn't work, so I can't get it to flip on anything. And the other nice thing with these apps is you can actually fly it on the gyro. So if I pop that on, and this one actually works properly. Now a lot of the other ones I've tried do not work so well, so this one really does. Oh, smart. And you've still got your yaw control, so you just literally, it's the forward motion and so it's pitch basically, and the roll that you're altering with your actual phone gyro. I like it, it's good. It's one of the best apps I've ever flown. The fact I can fly it is quite an impressive thing. Oh yeah, it's actually good fun. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off, and this is a bit I always struggle with, is actually how to turn it off without looking at it. When you look at it, it obviously pitches. So there we go, back in control. And like I say, it's pretty good. That is really nice. Oh, we got flashing LEDs. That's fair enough. Okay, just before I do, I saw this app has got something that I'm really not that fond of, and it's the actual one where you can choose where it's going to go. Whoa! Right, okay, so what this does is you just draw where you want it to go, and it basically does it, and I'm actually in high rate, so that's why it did it a bit erratic. So there we go, it's just going to go round, follow my little path around, and that's it. I have no idea why you want this. They just put it on basically. There we go. You can see what it's doing. So let me put it up in 60 and I'll just do a complete loop. So I didn't actually alter that, that was it doing it. There we go, so you can just set your path. Whoa, gee, it just makes me so nervous. The thing is, it doesn't remember the path, so you can't like fly it through trees and then have another go with it or anything. And we just turn that off and that's fine. And actually we've done pretty well with the flight time there as well. That's damn impressive. We'll just run the battery out just to see how we get on. But I am very impressed with this so far. And the fact I can fly it this well on an app. That's impressive for a start. God, that's a long battery warning. Ah, there we go. I'm trying to give that throttle and it's not responding particularly well. No, it still is. I say that battery bay door just opened a little bit there. That's my fault. That's nothing to do with its design or anything. I don't suggest you actually run the battery out like I'm doing here. I just do it on the test because sometimes you can get twice the flight time. So again, I wouldn't run it right out normally. But if you can get a lot longer flight time, you can put a little timer on and then just do it from there. I love the way it just sort of hovers away. Whee. Oh, we're still flying okay. Very nice indeed. Oh, there we go. We're definitely gone now. That was quite impressive. That was very impressive, actually. I like it. And the on-off switch is really simple. It's just a quick touch sort of thing to turn it on and off, which is rather nice. Everything's rather nice about it. I like it.
Okay, so what do I think of it? Well, you've probably got the impression already that I really quite like it. I like the style and the design of it. I love the way it sort of overlaps on the props, which I think looks really cool. The different angles as well that they've just popped on it is really nice. And yeah, it's just a nice little package, I think. This retails at about £40 at the moment, and they still got a discount code that's still working. I'll put a link down to it in description to the product, and then I'll put the discount code as well. If it's still working, great, because it'll be then it's under £40, around about £35. So I think that's pretty incredible for what we're getting here. So what do we get? Get a really nice little gaming style transmitter. It's reasonably heavy in the hand and it feels really comfortable. I love the way it holds the phone, and the fact that it all folds away nicely. You don't have to put different bits and pieces on it, and it seemed to hold a reasonable size phone as well, which is rather good. You do need 4 AAA batteries for it, and it doesn't come supplied with those. So I didn't get any dropout on the actual transmitter at all, and when I was playing around with it, I went up to about 80 meters and it was still holding, so I was really pleased with that. The other things you get is you get a set of spare props, so you get 4 spare props, and they are moulded a little bit weird. They've sort of got a sort of ruckle, I would call it. I'm not too sure that's a real word, but there's a sort of wrinkle, might be a better word for it, sort of along the leading edge and along the trailing edge, and I don't understand why they would do that. But they do, it's there, so that's it. And while we're on the props, they're nice and flexible, so actually if you hit anything, you really shouldn't actually damage that. That's going to deflect out the way. Probably bend your prop, yeah, that's fine, but it's not going to trash your quad or anything that you're hitting as well. While we're on that, if you're new to flying, please use the prop guards. They just simply pop in there and they click into position, and they're going to, if you come into anything, they're going to take the impact and not damage your quad, because if you put them on, I guarantee you won't crash. If you don't put them on, I guarantee you will crash if you're new to flying. It's just the way it is. The battery is 1000 milliamp hour, and that was given me, I've flown it a few times, 12 to 13 minutes I was getting every single time. Really nice. That's a really long flight, I think. Really superb. It does take 2 hours to charge, and they give you a USB to JST adapter. If you're going to get into the hobby, and yeah, trust me, it gets quite addictive, get yourself a hobby grade charger. I'll put a link down in the description to a video I did on the one I use, and it will charge it in an hour then. And then you could have some other batteries as well. It's not a difficult battery to get hold of. The other thing you get is a little Phillips screwdriver as well, so you get them with all virtually all quads as well. Let's go through the actual quad itself, and I like the tri landing, but it is going to try and go over as well, but it's so lightweight, it will just go over at an angle like that, and the props will stop if it does hit down. Didn't have a lot of trouble with it. It's only when I dropped it out of the sky playing around just testing it. Now my camera, they give out that it's a wide angle lens, and this one is not wide angle. I don't know whether it's one of the very first ones. I've had it a little while, so I don't know. But mine is not wide angle. I can only show you what I get given. And the other thing, like I say, the video was on an angle. So, and the reason it's on an angle is the actual camera module, I don't know if you ever see that unit, is actually not mounted correctly on my one. I've had a look at it, and I'm not sure that it's come out of the factory like that. I think people at GearBest, Banggood, all of the retailers that send us reviewers stuff, they have little play with them quite often. I'm pretty sure they never tell us they do, but I've had units turn up with batteries in the transmitter and such like. So, and manufacturers don't do that. The boxes are always opened and then sort of reassembled. So I think somebody's had a play with it, given it a bit of a knock perhaps, and that's why the camera's on an angle. I can easily sort it, but I like to review what I get, and any mods I do, I like to point out that I'm doing some mods. So, but mine definitely does not have a wide angle lens. I was also getting a serious amount of jello with it, and the reason I was getting a serious amount of jello is the camera unit is loose, so it's going to float around in there. I don't think you'd get jello-free video with it because there's no anti-dampening in there, but you could work on it. It's really not difficult to get into. Pop those screws off and you can get into the front part of the camera unit, and then at the back here all you have to do is just basically take the quad apart. It's not a difficult one to take apart, but it can be sorted without a problem, but I'm pretty sure yours won't come with that. But I like to be honest, this is how mine came. On closer inspection, the actual lens module itself was at an angle, so that was actually sat in the unit here, turned slightly, so that's why I've wound up with the horizon being slightly out on my particular one. So whether or not that came out of the factory like that, or whether or not, you know, somebody else playing around with it has just dislodged it, had an accident, I can't see any damage on it at all, I must admit. So you could, so I can sort mine out. Yours definitely shouldn't come like that, I'm absolutely sure it won't. And while I've got this apart, you could actually put in a little bit of anti-dampening in there to actually round the lens unit itself, and that would get rid of any jello that you had, or certainly would help to reduce it if you get jello on your model. The LEDs are great. I just love everything about the style and everything, and I think for the money you honestly can't go wrong with it. Yes, hang on a minute. The video quality again on mine is pretty dire. The bit rate is so low, you get a lot of artifacts and everything within the video, as you would have seen. But again, it's a £40 unit with all these options on it of flying. I still think it's pretty good, actually. You know, I'd be very happy to buy one. And it flew really well on the app. It was one of the best apps I've ever flown, and it works really well. And by the way, I'll put a link down in the description to a video I did on how to fly with the app as well. So I really like it. Yes, it's got issues, but that's just my one, I'm pretty sure. If you get one and you had any of these issues, obviously you just complain to the retailer. So you certainly shouldn't have any of these issues that I've had with the video and everything. So I really like it. And yeah, a big old Tigger paws up.